What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel as we are continuing to pound out anything related to Madden 20 that is worth talking about. Today, beautiful Friday, getting ready to end the week, we have the final member released of the 99 Club, the illustrious 99 Club in Madden 20. We did a prediction video way back on Monday when we found out there's only going to be 4 players in the 99 Club, whereas previous Maddens, there's been, on average about 7 players in the 99 Club. We saw that there was going to be 4. We knew that there was a big ratings shift to Madden 20, and there was going to be some discrepancy. Things were going to look a lot different. I still personally felt like 4 is a little low. Like, we get the superstar abilities that's going to make the really good players stand out, so they don't necessarily have to be a 99. It's just more so what we're going to go through in today's video. Once we look at the official top 4, I just feel like based upon who they gave a 99, there's probably 2 or 3 guys that also deserved a 99 as well. So we did a prediction video. We were 3 of 4 on our predictions. We predicted that there was going to be Aaron Donald, which was easy, Bobby Wagner, and DeAndre Hopkins. Those 3 were correct. And then we had the final spot, which I had no idea. I thought it was going to be Mahomes, could have been J.J. Watt, could have been Khalil Mack. Ended up being Khalil Mack, but I know my official prediction was J.J. Watt. Just because Khalil Mack, while he was actually playing the games, if you watch the Bears play, Khalil Mack was unblockable. He was insane. But overall, his stats, they weren't really, they weren't like his best of his career, anything like that. He missed some games here and there. But I mean, in terms of him getting a 99, and even though outside of it messing up my predictions, me looking like a football genius, Khalil Mack getting a 99, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you actually watched the Bears play last year, there was games that he single-handedly would win from the defensive side of the ball. When you could do that, there's only a few players, far in between that can actually take over a game like that on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not going to be, super triggered or anything like that he got a 99. So now the debate opens up to, there's only these 4 guys. A lot of people I asked made a tweet, and you look at all of the posts every time they unveiled a new member, people just super critical, hypercritical. I mean, that is the nature of the beast, especially when you deal with a Madden community that overall on social media is fairly toxic about a game that's been disappointing them for quite some time. So anytime anything comes out that is open to debate, it's going to be majorly negative. I went through every single post and I was looking at all these tweets and stuff that got a bunch of likes, and I wrote down the popular names that the consensus of the community thought should have got a 99 overall. I'm going to try to dispel everything and really determine who got robbed of a 99 overall rating. I'll tell you right out the rip, I think, looking at my list before I jump into it, there's 2, maybe 3 players that probably also should have got a 99. But, I mean, that's a weird number. 4 is a weird number anyway. I feel like 5, you probably should have just had 5 99 players. But, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they didn't have a set number in their mind when they were deciding who's going to be members of the 99 Club in Madden 20. They just said, let's just do our ratings, and what we have at the end is what we have at the end. And they only had 4 guys. So, looking at players who could have got robbed, according to the community, I'm going to try to go through and dispel it. Starting at the quarterback spot, obviously the biggest omission might be the cover athlete in Patrick Mahomes, who went 12-4 as a starter last year, 5,100 passing yards, 50 touchdowns to 12 picks, as well as 270 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Also, because we do know that the ratings team at Madden loves them some Pro Football Focus ratings, Mahomes was number 3 in Pro Football Focus ratings. For an example, DeAndre Hopkins was 2, Aaron Donald was 1. I think Khalil Mack and Bobby Wagner both were top 10. I don't actually think Mack and Wagner, though, were outside of the top 5. So when you see Mahomes at number 3, he's the MVP, and he's a cover athlete. Very surprising not to see him get a 99 overall. The argument against Mahomes getting a 99 could be the fact that it's only 1 year. They don't want to rush and give, for whatever regard and high esteem they hold a 99 Club player in. Maybe they don't want to give it to a guy that's only had 1 big year. So if that's the argument against it, I kind of get it. I don't really recall over the last couple of Maddens, some guy having 1 big year and getting a 99 overall right away. Usually they will see a massive ratings jump. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mahomes be 97, 96, somewhere in that territory. But I mean, there's no quarterback in the 99 Club. That could be another thing that is fairly like, whoa, that actually happened? No quarterback got it? So that's a little bit unnatural and unusual to see in Madden, but I think there's a legit claim that Patrick Mahomes could be a 99. Seeing who they gave it to this year, another popular one was Tom Brady. He went 11-5 as a starter, 4,300 passing yards, 29 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. So regular season stats, not really up to Tom Brady's standards. He did win the Super Bowl, but you got to look at the stats within winning that Super Bowl. He was not very good. 950 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks over that entire playoff run. So while Brady is a familiar face, I'm not buying the hype. I think that's just a lot of Patriot homers that wanted Brady to get in. His stats weren't that. He won the Super Bowl, but they didn't win the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady. He was obviously a big part of that. All the extracurricular that he's going to do from a locker room standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, that can't be measured. But from a statistical standpoint, which is ultimately how these 99 ratings have to come into about, Brady was not anything amazing last season, and definitely not up to Brady's standards. Outside of that, I mean, if I had to put a quarterback that was an outside shot, I mean, there was Drew Brees. He graded out very well from Pro Football Focus. I would have put Russell Wilson in the mix just because of how talented he is. We know that Aaron Rodgers wasn't, well, I mean, we didn't know for a fact that he wasn't going to be a 99, but we know Aaron Rodgers from superstar X Factor abilities is going to be insanely overpowered. I don't think it's going to matter what his base rating are. And I think Russell Wilson would have been my outside shot if we're excluding Mahomes to be a potential 99 overall player, just for how talented he is and how much he means to his team. But ultimately for the quarterback, I think you get a legitimate claim here with Patrick Mahomes, not so much with Tom Brady. Looking at the running backs, now there's 3 running backs that a lot of people kept saying is going to get a 99. I actually can't remember the last time a running back got a 99 overall. You need to remember positional value. Sometimes there's just certain positions that it's impossible, not impossible, but very, very difficult to get a 99. I legit can't tell you, was AP maybe the last 99 overall rated running back 4 or 5 years ago? So we had Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley, and Alvin Kamara. All 3 of these guys, especially when they're talking about the 2 players on the right side of that 99 club mural, I'll see them pop up all the time, especially for Gurley and Kamara, for the dude with the dreads that ended up being DeAndre Hopkins like I predicted. So you look at Todd Gurley, he had 1,250 rushing yards, 17 rushing touchdowns to go along with 59 receptions, 580 yards, and 4 tutties. Pretty good season. You have Saquon Barkley, 1,300 yards, 11 rushing touchdowns to go along with 91 receptions, 720 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Pretty good year. Alvin Kamara didn't even break 1,000 rushing yards, but he had 883 as well as 14 rushing touchdowns to go along with 81 receptions, 709 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. So none of those seasons were really eye-popping. They were good, don't get it twisted, but I think you can kind of go, Kamara didn't even break 1,000 yards rushing, and while that's not necessarily his game for the running back position, I feel like when you look at a Kamara, you look at a Christian McCaffrey, always going to be kind of tough to sell a 99 on a guy that was arguably as good a receiver as he was a rusher. You look at Saquon Barkley, same thing could go in the Mahomes logic. He had one big year. I mean, he's only had 1 year, but it's one big year, and I think that looking at the trend of National Football League and how much Saquon's got to be used next year with the Giants, I think there's a legitimate shot that if someone can do the deep dive and figure out when the last 99 overall running back was, I'm going to guess. I didn't look into it. I didn't do any research. I would say it was probably one of the AP years. Saquon has a legitimate shot in 21 to maybe get a 99 overall. And then you look at Todd Gurley. I mean, those are really good stats for Todd Gurley. I don't know if they were hesitant about maybe the knee injury, the fact that how the whole playoffs finished out where he wasn't really playing. It was more the CJ Anderson show. Was he hurt? Was he not hurt? Maybe that soured them on giving Gurley the running back 99 rating. But overall, I don't think there's any legit claims for any of these running backs to be members of the 99 club. Moving to the wide receivers, we have Antonio Brown, a familiar face in the 99 club, last year's cover athlete. Finished with 104 receptions, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. I mean, when you compare that to what DeAndre Hopkins had, they're in the same ballpark. I would say it's you get a little bit lukewarm claim for AB to get in the 99 club. I don't know, maybe it's the perception of all the off the field stuff, the fact that he had a beef with Juju. I mean, there is some personal emotion that can go into these ratings, and Juju being the big hype man right now behind the Madden system because he has the YouTube. He appeals to the kids. He's like a streamer when you're trying to market a video game. He appeals to the kids, so you want to be nice to that guy. I don't know if that went into a part of it. I think there is a legit claim. AB is, even though he's an asshole, even though I liked AB and I've been soured on him over his actions and off the field and stuff like that over the last 2 years or so, I think there's a legit shot that you could say he got robbed a little bit. He could be number 5 if you're trying to get a nice 5 number for 99 club. You have Julio Jones, 113 receptions, 1,600, almost 1,700 yards, only 8 touchdowns. I think everyone knows how good Julio is. He's probably going to be a 97 or something like that in the ratings. I think you can just look back at the touchdowns, man. The touchdowns don't match the rest of the stats, and if I'm giving a 99 overall, come on, man, start playing some more. And maybe that's just because I get Julio Jones in fantasy a lot, and he just doesn't get touchdowns until, he literally will get no touchdowns for 9 weeks and then get 4 1 week, so his stats at the end of the year don't look terrible. Get more touchdowns before I start pounding the table for you to get a 99 overall. You look at offensive linemen. I think there's 2 O-linemen that could have got a 99. I feel like because of the marketing, it's tough. It's a tough sell to market an offensive lineman as a 99. I think David Bakhtiari, who was number 39 for Pro Football Focus, 88.4 grade, but consensus regarded as the best tackle right now if you're going from a stat standpoint. He could have got a 99, and then you also look at Jason Kelsey, who is number 64 overall for Pro Football Focus, 83.5 grade, but out of any of the offensive linemen, he is that much further away from anyone else at the center position, as like he's far and ahead the best center in the National Football League. I think both those guys could have gotten 99s. If this was Madden 5-6 years ago, they probably would have gotten 99s, but it always is a tough sell for offensive linemen, so I'm not really going to pound the table there. On the defensive line, first up, we got J.J. Watt. He was my prediction for the original 4 in the 99 club. 61 tackles, 16 sacks, 18 TFLs, 7 forced fumbles last year. I'm not going to lie, he's my number one candidate for saying someone that got robbed. I think I'm not even going to say robbed, because I don't necessarily know I'd put J.J. Watt over Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Khalil Mack. I'm not going to lie, I probably would have put him ahead of Khalil Mack. And that's, I've already said I don't disagree with Khalil getting 99. But, I mean, push come to shove, if they had to be 4, I'd probably squeeze J.J. Watt in there just a little bit. He was 2 years ago. He was the Aaron Donald. Like the way that people think about Aaron Donald right now, that was J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt was undisputably the best player on the defensive side of the ball. He played 5 games over 2 years because he had lingering injuries. Finally healthy again next year, and is right back to that elite upper echelon of an edge rusher defensive lineman. I mean, first team All-Pro, his stats were ridiculous. I think J.J. Watt did enough to get back into the 99 club. A little bit biased here. I'm looking at Fletcher Cox just because I know how much the ratings team values Pro Football Focus. He was number 5 overall player in Pro Football Focus. 46 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 12 TFLs, but I'm not going to die on that hill for Fletcher Cox because ultimately those stats aren't, while he does a lot of things that don't show up on the box score very, very well, as good as anyone in the National Football League, I'm not going to, die on the hill that Fletcher Cox, because I'm a biased Eagle fan, needs to get a 99 because he only got 10.5 sacks. Moving to the linebackers. We got Von Miller. This was a very popular one. I know Von Miller got swag. I know 90% of people that aren't Bronco fans that love Von Miller also love Cam Newton and Odell. But Von Miller definitely doesn't get a 99. He'll probably get 97, 96, somewhere in that territory. 48 tackles. He had a pick, 4 forced fumbles, 14.5 sacks, 14 TFLs. But ultimately, those stats were a little bit down for him. I mean, and he didn't even really carry his defense that much. A guy like his quality, he's supposed to elevate that defense. In reality, what we saw was a guy like Chubb starting to say, hey, maybe Von Miller is still really, really, really good, but maybe he's not as good as people think, because look at me. I'm doing the damn thing on the opposing side, and now people are going to be double-teaming me and open things up for Von Miller. They're showing less respect to Von and more respect to Bradley Chubb, and that's not an outright switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still definitely going to go their way to stop Von Miller. He is priority number 1, the defense, but you're starting to see someone like Bradley Chubb there. Teams are starting to respect Von a little bit less because you have to appreciate what's coming over from Bradley Chubb's side. So I feel like because there's a little bit of a transition there on the Broncos defense, it's still Von's defense. Don't get it twisted. It's a down year. He needs a bounce back year next year. Right now, all the media on the offseason was he wants to break the sack record. Hey, bud, make sure you're the best edge rusher on your team next year first, okay? But the big omission at linebacker, I think, was Luke Kuechly, the linebacker from the Panthers. 130 tackles last year, interception, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 20 tacklers for loss. I think he has a legit claim to be a member of the 99 club. I think this was probably the biggest one, along with Patrick Mahomes, was Mahomes and Kuechly. I know a lot of fans are triggered when they saw, especially if you're a Panther fan, when you saw Bobby Wagner go up there in the 99 club, but Luke Kuechly did not follow. So I think they're really 1A, 1B. It's almost in any given week who I would rate as the overall best linebacker. They are so close when it comes to their talent. But, Luke has been a familiar face in the 99 club, similar to J.J. Watt and Antonio Brown. These were honorable mentions. Maybe they just wanted a little bit of a change of the guard. They wanted to freshen things up a little bit. But those would be my big guys. We have to talk about players that got robbed. I think you look at Mahomes, you look at Antonio Brown, J.J. Watt, and Luke Kuechly. And if I had to pick guys to die on, because I can make arguments against Mahomes because it's only 1 year, right? I can make an argument against AB because of the whole Juju beef and the fact that he's kind of been a dick off the field. I think J.J. Watt and Luke Kuechly should have been 2 players included in the 99 club. I would have had 6, but those are the 4 we got, guys. We got Bobby Wagner, Aaron Donald, DeAndre Hopkins, and Khalil Mack. How do you guys feel about that in the comment section below? Do you agree with what I'm saying here for these guys that got robbed? For defensive backs, corners, and safeties, I don't think there's anyone good enough last year that could have got a 99. I think if you're looking at pure stats, that's all you're looking at is stats, then you could start looking and arguing about Saquon because he went over 2,000 yards of scrimmage. You can look at what Darius Leonard did for the Colts last year from a pure stat standpoint, box score standpoint. It was absurd. So I think a guy like Darius Leonard from a stat standpoint could go in that conversation if you're just basing it on that. But there's definitely lots of room for debate and I'm sure we'll have more ratings debates next week. I would guess that the official ratings are probably going to drop on Monday, or at least, start going through positional ratings, so we will have videos about that. But let me know what you guys think about the 99 Club for Madden 20. What guys do you think got robbed? What guys do you think don't deserve it that made it of the top 4? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, your first time stopping by, Madden 20 season is just about to get underway here on the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on that ride. Subscribe now, smash that like button, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.